Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog, and I wanted to follow up on the previous post about the importance of a view. I also wanted to show off my new camera because a lot of my readers have been giving me the business for, I don't know, the last year or so about my lack of technology, that cheap little flip cam. So anyways, here's a real camera with a real microphone, and away we go. What I was talking about on my blog was not necessarily a view of something in particular. Okay, here I mentioned I look at the CN Tower and I look at the buildings. And I'm not trying to make a point about where I live, but rather I'm trying to make a point about the importance of a view, the price you can put on a view, or the premium associated with moving up to higher floors. So what I mentioned on my blog, what I do see in terms of a value of a view, is just to not have another building right in your face. And the best example I can think of is, here's another section of my building. Let's say you live in City Place, where you're like 40 feet from the next tower, okay? Imagine this, is you look outside your window and that's what you see. Or we can look upstairs here and you can see that the person who lives above me is watching The Mentalist, which I've tried to watch, but I just really don't see the appeal to. Anyways, what I'm talking about is open space, okay? And when you have a condominium that's built like this one over a park or over the water or over a ravine or over something that will never be built on, you don't feel like you have someone living directly across from you who can, of course, look into your living room like I'm doing to that person. Regardless, when I look west, there's really nothing in the way, okay? They could build a building over there, but really, you're not going to have anything built here. So when I'm sitting in my living room, when I'm out on my deck, I look out and I don't see another building right next to me. That is what I pay a premium for. Not necessarily to see, cool lit up buildings, but rather to not feel completely cramped like I'm living in a box next to another guy in his box. And as you move north, okay, so here's the Holiday Inn Express, and there's some pretty weird stuff going on in there at night. That's another topic for another day and probably another blog. But this is about as close as I am to another building. And you know what? It's just one section of it. And as you continue to pan north, there's not a lot there. So that's just my individual bias. Again, there were people on my blog that said I would never pay more for a view. There are people that said a view is incredibly important. Again, it's one of those things that's different for everybody. But for me, as long as I'm not surrounded by other condominiums, I could be looking at that CN Tower, or I could really be looking at just a bunch of trees. To me, it's just about not being cramped in my little box with all the other folks.